Yeah,
All right, no,
and
no, no.
that's
I'm
why
telling you,
that's
no
why
one's
HNF
gonna
and
know
Hobby.
that we're putting CIA mind control messages in our podcast. The check
Yeah,
cleared. No,
and that's why we're trying to pop up and resurrect Hammurabi. Peace be upon him.
yeah.
So, hello everybody, and welcome to the Half No Fear podcast. We will be talking mostly about how everything's awful and nothing works.
Yep, it's apocalypse, people. No, I take that back. Apocalypse would probably be way better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at least the searing pain wouldn't be as bad as the crap coming out. So let's get to start about Nuka World, my favorite load of bullshit.
That you can't stop talking about for some reason.
Yeah, I know. I have a problem, man.
Yeah, it's an addictive. I'm sending you money to go to rehab.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
thank you,
Nuka
man.
World came out. Nuka World came out finally after 3 delays, if I'm not mistaken, and it's just as broken as every other DLC that Bethesda put out in the last year and a half,
Ever?
pretty much. Well, yes, ever. On top of that, but
Well,
yeah,
I mean, Obsidian
Nuka
worked
World.
pretty well. I mean, Oblivion.
Um, Nuka World centers around a sort of hybrid between the Coca-Cola Company and Disney World in a post-apocalyptic scenario, which is one of
With
my
a tiny
favorite.
smidge of Illuminati like fucking corporate
Uh,
management.
yeah, which is the only way you can manage Disney at this point. My God.
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
our overlords have told us that we're not allowed to talk about that. So,
yeah,
no, but seriously. All right,
and
so
Nuka World the sets up the story like you are now the overboss of a raiding tribe, pretty much, and 70% of the
you're the
deal.
overboss of 3 gangs, which is actually done a lot better than the other ones because at least now they call all the people that are have to listen to you, call you on the bullshit of the fact they have to listen to you. Like you walk down the street the first time, they're like, "So this new guy comes in, he whacks the old boss, and now he's the new boss. He ain't even a raider. What the fuck is up with that?"
Yeah,
And I'm like,
shit, get him
"Wow,
out of here.
irony."
Yeah, yeah, and this is what bothers me about the DLC in general. It's $20, and if you kill the raiders and free the traders, you miss out on the best perks that the game has, and 70% of the actual content. So
Oh,
if
I
you're
wouldn't
not
know
eating,
about that
I did.
because
I
I
tested.
got the gauge bug. See, Bethesda released this thing, people, so fucking broken that they fixed the monorail, so at least now you actually a lot of people actually can start the DLC. But they didn't fix anything else with it. So Gage will actually not move on to the second line of dialogue, so you're stuck at the end of Grand Tour, so I can't raid anything. Which is better than the affinity bug, because apparently if you're talking to him and shoot him down a romance option, he will also stop talking to you. This is how broken this shit is. And it just really pissed me off. After a 300 megabyte patch, Gage still can't fucking say the second line of dialogue, so I can start oppressing all the peons back in the Commonwealth.
Yeah. Now, I've never really sided with slavers ever in any Fallout game, but here's the
Traitor.
thing: traders, yeah, human traders. But here's the thing about it: uh, every one of my settlements, they, despite having the best equipment and the best armor that I could give them, they still get attacked and they still get kidnapped. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to actually replace everyone here with someone who's actually competent in the fight. Because
Good luck with that.
if you've ever seen the Minutemen and go up against any other faction or any other animal in the overworld, they get completely owned. And
That's actually because the Minutemen actually don't scale upward at all. So
yeah,
the
they're
first
level
level of
five.
Minutemen you get are literally the only level of Minutemen you get. So they're fucking useless.
Yeah, they are level 5, and that's where they're staying for the entire game. So, whereas like the average raider is it's 15 to level 25, I believe, on average. If you're not high.
I don't know. I didn't check on that.
Well, I did because I've got like that. It's basically just living in that. It just tells you the level, what the weaknesses are, what they have, and
yeah, I think I've seen your screenshots of that, which really pissed me off. It's like, oh, hey, look, this was our balancing system. We just gave this guy a fucking 1,000 resistance points toward this one type of damage.
Yeah, but it is interesting how like ghouls heal from radiation, but they have 1,000 resistance to it.
It's so fucking shit design, man. Like Obsidian did it so well. And
this is pretty funny. I caught a. Have you ever run into a gamma gun? It's like this gun that just shoots radiation.
Oh yeah, I know what a gamma gun is.
I got a ghoul flame gamma gun. I'm like, wow, this is the most useless fucking thing I've ever had.
Yeah, like here's the problem with gamma guns is like they almost universally wreck your shit. Like at no point do gamma guns not just fucking own you. But the moment you get one, no. Like the only good one I know of in the entire game is what's it? The one you get for completing what's his name?
House. It's the one. Yeah, it's the Cobalt House.
What Culver's house or whatever.
Yeah, and it's called the
that's like the only good one. That's because it does some additional type of damage beyond radiation.
Yeah, it does physical energy, I believe, and it creates a blast wave.
Which will kill you frequently.
Yes. But yeah, they've added a bunch of stuff to the. Well, they haven't added a whole lot. They've added a few ballistic guns to the overworld in as.
Oh yeah, okay. What they've added to the world is a slew of new guns, a ton of useless fucking new items for your settlements that will, well, inevitably I'll end up probably making a settlement using them because I have a fucking problem. And some new robot parts which are fucking god awful. Like I went the other day because like I saw your screenshot about the robots. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna totally build one of these Assaultrons that I gotta see in Nuka World. It's gonna look so cool.
Yeah, there's only one cool like little armor set that is added on. It's called the Space Securitron stuff, and it like gives it a gold and white paint, I believe. So
only the Protectrons get the nice new stuff.
Yeah, and
like you get some additional arms and stuff for the other guys, and it's useless. Although you actually can build somehow off. There's a bunch of mascot parts. So I guess apparently you actually can build your own walking, working mascot. Which I have no idea if that's going to be useful, but I really want it.
I think it's a novelty weapon, kind of like the acid gun.
Like, I'll be honest, since I got my Gauss rifle, my 50% more damage Gauss rifle legendary, and my time stop 10mm pistol, I haven't used any of the weapons from the DLCs. Like, they're never even come close to just how effective these two weapons are.
Oh, I've replaced one of my assault weapons with the problem solver from the DLC. And you get this by intimidating the pack leader.
Oh yeah, that's supposed to be a really good gun though. But like, I specialize in sniping, so
I can't do sniping in this. I can't do sniping in this game because there's 2 sniper rifles, and that's it.
Well, 3 if you count the Gauss rifle.
Yeah. But yeah, the problem solver is pretty good because it stacks 15% more damage for each round consecutively. But if you miss, then it just restarts. But if I shoot myself with Psychojet, and I can pretty much kill a behemoth in less than 1 clip. It's pretty fucking crazy.
Nice.
That's my build. I'm a sort of I don't know what I'm exactly. I'm
Yeah, but like back.
Strike chem guy. So it's like very mid-range, a lot of guns and a lot of like melee weapons.
Yeah,
And I
but like I
go
was saying earlier, the game has released. Like you're lucky. You I guess apparently have not got any of the bugs.
I've gotten
like
a few.
yeah, like all right. You got any of the game crashing ones though?
Yep.
Not crashing, but stopping.
Yeah, it was like error, something, something, then it blue screens, and then the application. Yeah, that's happened to me twice.
Yeah.
But
like apparently Bethesda
that,
kicked this DLC out the door with so many slew of bugs, and you're gonna love this, man. I've actually heard from beta testers, and they all have the same story. Bethesda did not fix a single bug submitted by them in any of the betas. So for all, because I thought honestly that these people were just taking it for a free ride, not doing their fucking job. But apparently, after hearing from them, that is not the case.
Yeah.
So, which brings us to the next point. Mod support on PS4 is dead, and Bethesda has said, let's see. After months of discussion with Sony, we regret to say that while we have long been ready to offer our mod support on the PS4, pause, except for the fact your sound bug didn't work, you didn't have a data limit issue, and you didn't talk to Sony till the last minute. Continuing, Sony has informed us they will not approve user mods the way they should work, where users can do anything they want for either Fallout or 4 or Skyrim Special Edition. Like you were excuse me. We are disappointed by Sony's decision given the considerable time and effort we have put into this project and the amount of time our fans have waited for the mod support to arrive. We consider this an important initiative and we hope to find other ways user mods can be available in the PlayStation audience. However, until Sony will allow us to offer proper mod support in the PS4, the content for PlayStation 4 and Skyrim PS4 will not be available.
It's just so messed up because, to my knowledge, it was no problem with Microsoft them putting the product in. And I'm just thinking because that the PC is a whole different machine that they can't like link the two from Bethesda their website to the PS network.
No, like here's what I can tell you about this. Bethesda had issues with sound. Sony steps in, fixes it, just like they fixed the PlayStation 3 Skyrim DLC. After which Bethesda later admitted they had production issues with internally because they could not focus on what to do when. I forget the term for that, but they had major issues with that. What?
The deadline?
No, they basically couldn't get people in the same boat because they have a massive Microsoft bias at fucking Bethesda. And so then Sony steps in and says, okay, we can increase it to 2 gigabytes, no issue. So like, and you notice like Sony does not, I mean not Sony, but Bethesda does not say that the sound is still an issue. Doesn't say that the data limit is still an issue. So Sony has fixed both these issues. And now Bethesda wants us to believe that after Sony put in all this effort, and frankly, it looks like Bethesda put in absolutely no effort, especially considering they haven't fixed any of the bugs for the DLCs reported by the beta users and has a history of doing this crap, that Sony is just hand-wringingly evil screwing the players, and every fucking person is just taking this as gospel. Like, even in Gamergate circles. And someone asked me, well, why would Bethesda lie? And I'm like, to make money. They've done it before.
Just to fuck with us.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, come on. Like, and this is insane. Like, people you would think would actually be smart about this are being dumb as fuck.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with anybody from TG since August of last year.
Yeah, but I was checking Kotaku in action, see if anything interesting, good news happening, and they have a thread on this, and half the people are like, you know, fuck Sony, Sony's fucked up, and they're talking, oh, Scorpio's gonna dominate Sony, and I'm like, I'm gonna crush this little fucking room right here for all of you people at home. Scorpio is not gonna crush Sony. Scorpio is not gonna render 4K natively. To render 4K natively, you need about 9 teraflops of processing power. Basically a 1080 NVIDIA card.
Basically, it has to be a lot bulkier than what
Scorpio is going to have 6 teraflops. And I like to break this all to everyone here. There is no way in hell fucking Scorpio is going to be underneath $600. I mean, if it's $500, I will be surprised. You cannot sell six.
Isn't that just mind blowing? How much consoles have always said that, oh yeah, we're the cheaper alternative to PC, but over the past 10 or 5 years or so, I've compared the prices of a laptop that I can get a laptop and the components, and compare that to a brand new Xbox One. I didn't want to buy the Xbox One for various reasons, mostly because I didn't want to play Dead Rising. I'm not a fan of Microsoft lineup in general. It's just oh, Halo, Call of Duty, fucking Dead Rising, and some other Capcom stuff.
Now, Microsoft doesn't have anything coming out worthwhile. I mean, I'm not saying that because I'm the Sony fanboy and shit here, because I like to play on PC console. I'll play on whatever the hell I can play. I still play on my the Vita, and my 3DS is somewhere around here. I mean, I will play on whatever the game is good on. So it's not Sony fanboy, but honestly, I wanted Microsoft to do better. I mean, but let's look at Dead Rising 4. It's shit. They've turned Frank West into a millennial. They've ruined everything that was good about Dead Rising, from the core concept of rescuing people, making it a deep, intricate experience, and just turn it into
around with novelty weapons.
Yeah, a parody of itself.
I think Dead Rising 2 is probably the best zombie game I've ever played, because it's just it's just so.
I think Case West is probably the quintessential zombie game. I mean, because it basically took everything that made number 1 good and number 2 good, and then put it together. Yeah,
I've seen little clips of it, where Frank. It's an alternate universe where Chuck Green is Frank West, and there's sort of a position swap, and some of the players have been switched around. Now the woman that you've been working for is the bad guy, or something to that effect. But yeah, it is.
I don't really know. I tried. I got this finally had it on sale, and it's just so boring. It's essentially it's good, but if you've played the death out of number 2, it's essentially the same game, but instead of Chuck Green, you're Frank West.
Yeah.
And instead of getting Zombrex for your kid, you're getting Zombrex for yourself, because Frank is actually infected with the parasitic wasps.
Yeah, isn't that just I like the fact that in every Dead Rising game, the villain is always, it's not some bad guy, it's not some corporation, it is the government. It is everything Alex Jones has said is true.
It's basically some it's basically humanity itself, is the bad guy, either as the zombies, either as the people trying to contain the zombies, as the psychopaths who break because of the zombie outbreak, or just reveal the true colors.
Yeah.
Or it's these monolithic corporations or government conspiracies.
Some of the psychopaths are straight up hippies and Greenpeace people, the guy in the.
Oh god, that's funny. My favorite one.
The guy in the rescue is zombie.
My favorite has to be the store owner from number 1 and the clown.
Oh yes.
This is my store. Clean up aisle 1.
Yeah, and he's got a weaponized shopping cart. It's like electrified and motorized and has
Best
all this
weapon.
crazy stuff.
It's like it had to be my hands down favorite thing to use in Dead Rising 1.
Yeah. But getting back to consoles is that they've been getting like more and more expensive and more unwieldy as the years go by. And it's
I don't mind. Here's what I don't mind about the consoles being more expensive. And I know a lot of PC elitists are going to probably take me around back afterward and shoot me, which might actually help me with my Fallout addiction. But I like the consoles for one reason, and that's because I don't have to worry if the fucking game is going to work. I don't have to worry if my components are good enough to run at max settings. I can just put the game in and I can play it. Yeah. And I love my PC, but like, I don't have $1,000 to drop on the the NVIDIA 180 or 1080. I want to get the 1060 though. That one is in my price range.
Finally picked up like a actual PC, like not just some cheap throwaway 350. I bought I saved up for 4 months, I believe, and got a guy who is currently having his third child on the way, so he can't exactly. And
Judge here bought a computer that has Windows 10 in it.
Yeah,
hate him.
Well, I like the hard drive, like the system, and installed Windows 10 right out of the box, because I've heard like whispers that if you install Windows 7, it's going to force you to and it's going to.
Yeah, you basically have to turn off the auto updates to stop it from doing that, because Microsoft has intentionally done that several times. And the problem is, like, no one at Microsoft even knows how to make Windows 10 work. Like, leakers have come out and they've talked about the like literal absolute nightmare of the code that is 10. It's funny.
Yeah, I tried to pick up Windows 8 because that's the same one my company uses. Not a company that I own. I'm not that rich, people. A company that I work for, and that's the program we use, and I've been using that.
Yeah, we're not going to drop any names, but they, for a corporate symbol, they have a giant pyramid with an eye at the top.
Yeah, and it's a part of the government, a subsidiary.
Yeah. I thought the government was a subsidiary of our corporation now. I should really pay more attention at the meetings.
Okay. So yeah, Fallout New World is not worth $20.
Broken. And now Bethesda expects us to believe that Sony's the bad guy. Yeah. I love that cognitive dissonance of people. But all right, now, here's actually what realistically is going down. And I will lay this out for all of you. If you go back a few months to when the mod support first began, assholes stole people's mods and profited. This pissed off gamers and the modders, respectively, especially since this is literally how the console people handled the issue. They called the modders entitled for having someone else profit from their stuff. They dogpiled on the modders for taking their mods that were stolen down. But then they would turn around at the modders and bitch to the modders when a stolen mod would corrupt the save, because it still used 4K textures or two whatever textures, basically PC textures. And this was somehow the modders' fault. And this pissed them off to the point where half the modders, or not half, but a good chunk of them, took their mods down, and a good chunk basically started talking, we need to put DRM in our mods. And I'm not talking like DRM that would just corrupt saves, so that's probably what you're going to see going forward. I'm talking DRM that will brick the consoles. Now, one modder did a little fake thing to really piss off the console users, but this is legitimately people in discussion in the modding circles of how to basically put this in. And even if you believe that modders will ultimately never do this, hackers are already talking about hijacking modder accounts and then just slipping a virus into an update and then bricking your console anyway. And Bethesda has absolutely no security for this. I mean, honestly, I could go find my virus online, copy it, hack someone's account, and literally do it myself. If their password is so rudimentary, I could do it. Like, I'm not even a hacker, and I could do this. And that's the scary part right there. And so likely what Sony said is they heard these rumors, whether you believe these rumors are true or will ever come to fruition, up to you. But they exist, and you have to acknowledge they exist. And so here's Sony, who has been hackers' favorite, well, fuck toy.
Target for the last 20 years.
Yeah. For various reasons.
Yeah, they killed Michael Jackson.
So Bethesda, I mean, not so, Sony, probably wanted some security. And if we look at exactly what Bethesda said, Sony has informed us that they will not approve user mods the way they should work, where users can do anything they want. So basically, so they can put hidden files in. And keep this in mind, DRM in mods is not out of the ordinary. When we had the paid mod fiasco, about a year ago, there were mods with DRM in it that would fucking corrupt your save if you stole the mod.
Yeah, and this is why you have to have an external hard drive is essential.
Yeah, so
but yeah.
Yeah,
so now I'm gonna ramble on a bit. I think we've beaten the world and the mod support to death.
Yeah, but let's wrap this up here, though. I mean, Judge, what do you think here? Do you think Bethesda's telling us the truth, or do you think Sony just merely wanted some security? Judge just died. Bad news, people. Judge apparently had some information on Hillary Clinton's campaign, and they got him. So, I'll continue until he can rejoin. So my personal opinion is that I don't think Sony was basically 100% altruistic, but they have no reason to shoot down the mod support. It would be, as people have seen, catastrophic for their PR. It just does not work out for them. So I believe, honestly, they want some security, some promise against hidden files, because let's be honest, hackers are frequently hitting them. And that's, in my opinion, not too out of the question. So the big issue I have here with all this whole news thing is that everyone is just parodying Bethesda's word. Like, no website at all has, called up Sony and asked them for a comment. No one's emailed Sony and said, hey, Sony, Bethesda's claiming that you fucked them and screwed the players. Any truth to this? Before we print that you're literally the devil? No one. Not Game Informer, not Tech Raptor, not Niche Gamer, not IGN. No one has reached out and talked to Sony. And I'm waiting to hear what Sony has to say, because I'm willing to bet money that Sony is going to tell a completely different story. So we're waiting to see how classy Sony is going to be about this, because Sony could basically just greenlight mod support, or and without saying a thing, or they could just keep remaining quiet. Oh, Judge, see, you're back. You deal with Hillary Clinton's assassins? They must have damaged his rig. So anyway, like I was saying, it's just absurd that we're literally just getting one half the story from Bethesda, who have lied before. They lied about screwing Obsidian out of their bonus by rigging review scores. They lied about their hostile takeover of Arcane. They lied about their attempted hostile takeover of Human Head. And they just expect everyone to believe that they have done nothing wrong and that Sony, who has worked with them every step of the way, all of a
Oh my
sudden
God, there you
decided,
are.
screw mods. Oh, Judge is back.
Yeah, I don't
Just
know
as
what
we
happened.
successfully wrapped it up.
I don't know what happened.
Well, as I was informing our viewers, you had information on Hillary Clinton's campaign, and Hillary Clinton decided to try to take you out, and I assume that you have successfully won or have been replaced with a reptilian shapeshifter or a synth.
No, it's still me. I think. Maybe. Possibly. Hail Hydra.
Don't worry, people. No one's going to replace me with a synth or reptilian shapeshifter. I'm
Nope.
already pretty much the devil.
Hey, when did I get cut off? Just curious.
You were about to
I was,
start an epic rant.
uh,
I just wrapped up
about Yu-Gi-Oh!
talking about what's going down with the Sony thing, so it's actually a perfect time for you to begin your. I think you said No Man's Sky or whatever you're about to start talking about.
Well, no, I have not played No Man's Sky. I've mostly been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist for the PlayStation 4, and it has like just a ludicrous amount of just cards that you can like mess with and stuff. I'm not really into card games all that much. I'm not into Magic the Gathering or into hell. I wasn't even into Pokemon when that was still relevant, and they had a card game out. But I have always
Yeah, I've
like
never
really
gotten
liked
to cards either.
yeah, but I've always like really liked Yu-Gi-Oh cards because it's a very straightforward sort of game. But like as the years have gone by, it's kind of gotten to like a tree. It's kind of gotten from like a stem to this great oak of just layers and layers of just nonsense, pretty much. And uh, this game has a campaign mode of its own, which is a very condensed version of the animated series that we've all
Not the
been.
way more bloody manga.
No, this is no, this is a yeah, this is the 4 kids version. This isn't Saul with spiky hair version.
Damn.
Yeah, I wish they would come out
I
with
want to
a
play
more
a game for your soul.
yeah, yeah. That manga is fucked up.
I've really got to read that.
Yeah, but the on Legacy of the Duelist, it has a campaign mode, which is a very condensed version of the animated series, and the animated series are a condensed version of the manga. So it's a weird sort of iteration of it. It's like if you haven't watched the series, then you're going to be partially lost throughout the entire gameplay. And
So I'm guessing you haven't watched the series, so you've been completely lost throughout the entire gameplay.
I've watched a chunk of the series. I've watched the original one from the early 2000s, and a little bit of GX, a little bit of 5G. I haven't watched Zeal or
Yeah, you were
anything
lost.
beyond that. Yeah, I'm partially lost. But well, that's just the thing. It doesn't get more interesting as it continues on. It's a lot like One Piece.
Yeah, I'm a One Piece
Like
fan
all
here,
the
man.
art,
That show actually gets pretty good if you're not watching the shitty dubs.
yeah, and skipping
There's a
over all
funny
the
story there. Like, I went back to watch the show after I felt nostalgic, and I'm like, there's no dubs available, so I watched subtitles online, and I'm like, watch the first episode, and what Luffy uses like 4 different moves. And I'm like, Luffy uses 4 different moves. He only had like 2 for the manga. I mean,
like John
show.
Cena.
Yeah, and I'm like, I go get my brother. I'm like, Richard, you gotta come in here and look at this. This is like not as crappy as when we were kids. And then like we basically burned through over 600 episodes, and now we're just waiting for the new episode today. Where apparently someone has died, but they probably are not dead.
Yeah, that's how it works with these insanely long arcs. It's like from Bleach to One Piece to Naruto, and thank God Bleach and Naruto are ending. Not because that I'm wanting to see a resolution, just because I just want them to end already. Because
Which one?
Bleach has
Oh, Bleach.
either
Bleach
one,
actually
Bleach or
still going
Naruto.
on. They just made it so bad that they just shut the show down. They kept putting so many
Oh
filler
yes,
arcs in that everyone just got sick of
a
it, and
huge thing.
it got shut down.
Yeah, this was a huge thing. Like in the past 3 years, is that Bleach, seeing as though the manga hasn't progressed on in a substantial amount of time, they had to put in what are known as filler arcs, which is just an arc that has no reflection on the current like standby episode that they ended it on.
I
And
don't
it
know.
got
Some
super
shows
annoying
actually
to the
do put in
point
some
where
pretty good filler arcs, which are very professionally written, that just are not canon as far as the manga goes, but actually do fit
yeah, but not
nicely.
Bleach.
Yeah, not Bleach though. Bleach was fucking horrible.
Yeah, and but this is what they've done for the better part of 5 years, I think, is that they filled in with so many like filler arcs just to keep the show relevant and continue on this elongated standoff between the Hollow Lords and the Death Samurai, pretty much. And
Soul Reapers, yeah.
yeah, Soul Reapers. I'm sorry, I haven't watched the show in a while, but that's how it's kind of gone downhill, and they've shut down the show pretty much.
Yeah.
But getting back to Yu-Gi-Oh, I've watched the original series from start to finish, all dubbed, just because I like Yugi's voice actor really well. But yeah, and thing I didn't know this, that all the arcs start with a new protagonist at the beginning
You
of it.
didn't notice
Like,
that?
well, yeah, well, I didn't, but at first because they all have sort of spiky hair and
Well, yeah, I know. It's
funny.
like that's how you can tell who's the chosen one in that universe is based on their hairstyle.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But pretty much
Some
all the
universes,
arcs.
it's whoever has the most fucked up childhood. Some universes, it's the has to be royalty. In Yu-Gi-Oh's, it's spiky hair.
Yeah, and but this is the
Which, speaking
interesting
of which,
thing
is kind of
about.
funny. You ever notice that no one else in like any of the episodes has spiky hair other than the main protagonist, except for like maybe one random villain, and it's not even the same thing. Like, so it's like really weird. These main characters have this spiky hair because it's
Yeah,
clearly not a style that's caught on in their world.
yeah, it didn't cut on with Goku. It's not going to catch on now. But here's the interesting thing about all the Yu-Gi-Oh series is that they also tie into one another. Not through the game, though that's pretty much it. But like there
Yeah,
is
but
this overwhelming force that has sort of been working behind the scenes, slowly like eating away at the Earth, pretty much. And it's very subtle at the first one, but it sort of ramped up exponentially as the arcs go on. And it's really relevant in 5D's case, where everything is so awful. It's a dystopian universe, pretty much. I know card games on motorcycles puts a lot of people off, but it is an interesting world. And
yeah, I liked it.
yeah,
Well, the bits and pieces like you catch on TV.
yeah, and there are little bits and pieces of DLC here and there, but it was just a $20 game for me, so it's not a huge loss. I mean, I've gotten my money for it mostly. I've rebuilt my old deck that I had as a kid and got my ass kicked promptly because I'm not up to date with all the rules.
Yes. Yeah, it was funny. There's this guy speed running Yuga. I don't know which game he was speed running, and he's like laughing about how incompetent the AI is. And then he's at the final boss. He's about to complete the speed run. I guess like some record or something. And then the guy plays Pot Agreed, and then lays down Exodia, and the guy loses.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing about the AI and Legacy of the Duelist: they are all super smart. I swear to God, they draw the exact cards they need at any given situation, as well as I'm pretty sure they can see your cards, or like they know what your cards do, even though they're face
I
down.
would not be surprised because actually creating super intelligent AI that's actually capable of reacting is a lot more expensive than creating an AI that literally just can see everything.
But that doesn't bother me as much. It's like, oh, okay, you can see my cards, whatever. But I'll just make up some counter strategy on the fly, which is a draw for me for this game. Is that I built a zombie reactionary deck. It was mostly traps and zombie monsters, and because that's the deck I ran with as a kid. Um, and there's a bunch of other cards that I never heard of that sort of tie into it, and it's like 60 cards, and I rarely lose with it. So it's pretty awesome. There's like 9,000 cards in this game, I believe. So you could probably like spend just hours just building your own personal deck and going through
Nice.
the campaign.
This has got to be like our quietest episode yet.
Yeah, and this is.
Speaking of card games, have you heard about CD Red Project's new card game they're basing off of Witcher 3?
Oh yeah, the Gwent.
Yeah, I'm like really bad with names, so I'm not gonna be able to remember that. Yeah, they have like over 100 really people developing on this, and I honestly do not see them actually succeeding. Like, don't get me wrong, I have no doubt in my mind that Flint is actually really good, and that they'll fix all the problems that a lot of people pointing forth about the single player game when it's made competitively. But it's kind of like trying to make the next big multiplayer game.
Yeah.
And you might succeed, but you're gonna have to like roll 20 on your dice, and everything else is fuck you. You lose everything.
I'm very glad at this that The Witcher 3 installed, and this game is based very much on like rock paper scissors sort of. Card has a little bit of an effect. Mostly, if you have on your card, then at the end of the game, then you can win. But you have a very it's a fucking game. I'm not gonna lie.
Your mic's kind of screwing up there, man.
How about now?
Yeah, okay, you're good.
Well, anyway, I'm very bad at this.
I'm actually running really good at this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very bad at the Gwent game.
Yes. Basically, though, I mean, I think that I really want them to succeed because, actually, I'm still kind of pissed off at CD Red Project for all the bullshit they pull with Witcher 3. You know, not just the downgrade, but the obvious feminist pandering when it looked like Ania Sarkeesian was the new hit voice. Oh, we will put if we made DLC, because this is back before DLC was announced. We would totally love to do an entire DLC with Cersei in it. Then they announced all the DLC, no Cersei DLC. It was obviously complete fucking horseshit. And that just pissed me off, like, straight up, because, you know, they're just being entirely disingenuous about the whole thing, and and then the downgrade in graphics for Witcher 3 really just made me look at it and go, yeah, no, I just did not want to touch it.
Yeah, I tried to play it. I'm going to actually force quit some programs here, maybe clear up my...
Well, while Judge attempts to deal with his technical issues, let's move on to No Man's Sky, or No Man's Refund, or No Man's Game, or whatever your favorite joke is. And trust me, everyone has one. Literally, indie game devs are making jokes in their game about No Man's Sky. This is basically the butt of everyone's joke. The player base has essentially dropped off by 97%, and many industry experts are saying this will probably hold the space exploration genre back by another decade, which I'm actually pretty okay with because there are plenty of space exploration games, and honestly, No Man's Sky didn't do anything super fucking unique. I mean, if it would have delivered on its promises, oh, hells yeah, that would have been a must-have. But it didn't. So this game's been like nothing but a catastrophe since day one. Most of the features that were promised are missing. There's no multiplayer, even though multiplayer was promised. And this is a really good example out there for all you devs. Why you don't promise shit you can't deliver? Bethesda. Bethesda. So that way you don't have a bunch of pissed off, angry gamers. Like, if they would have just simply said, oh yeah, we're going to make a game where you just get to casually explore around the galaxy, look at some beautiful scenery. It's just a really relaxing experience with some space combat and mining thrown in, and we're going to start that as our base platform, and then from there, this is what we'd like to do with it, but only if it succeeds can we be able to do this. They would have probably been in the clear. But they lied and pulled, what's his name? Oh, Judge, I think you got your mic working again. Who's the guy that made Fable?
Oh, thank God. The guy that made Fable is Peter Molyneux.
Yeah, he pulled a Molyneux on this. And, like, with the Infinite Cube, that basically you couldn't unlock until fucking Elseworlds. And you just start in galaxy after galaxy after galaxy. Oh, yeah, and to the guy that got me literally banned for fucking kicking you off our group when you were spurting out about some DLC, about some supposed spoilers that weren't really spoilers, fuck you.
Yeah, I've only this is probably my proudest moment as being an admin. I've only had to ban 2 people. One was a communist and another guy was a illiterate troll. So
yeah, okay. So this guy was like, literally, for you guys that don't know out there, he was literally spurging out. I'm not gonna drop his name, mostly because I can't be arsed to remember it, and I am not looking it up. But basically, Facebook's rules say we have to nip in the ass anyone who's actually promoting violence. He was basically threatening other users with literal violence, so I banned his ass.
Yeah, we can't. This is part of the rules of Facebook. We can't have nudes. We can't call for somebody's head. I mean, we can insult somebody all day long, but we can't just like drop their information, say, okay, here's where this guy lives. Go do something to him.
Yeah, no, like we didn't even do that shit.
Right.
And the worst part. Oh, by the way, if we were feminists, SJWs, or literally ISIS, we'd totally be allowed to do all that stuff because fucking Facebook loves ISIS.
Yeah, we'd probably get more traffic if we were ISIS as well.
I know, right? Damn. We should probably rebrand.
Yeah.
Death no ISIS.
Death
to the infidels. And now back to their #1 hit, Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar. Sung by our version of the Shitty Beatles. Death to the West.
Yeah, so...
Hey, we should focus on the East. No one is bringing terror to the East. We could totally corner that market. Except China kind of scares me.
I'm not going up against the Philippine president. That guy's fucking crazy.
That guy's like my kind of crazy, except for the fact that he's actually going up against, he's actually doing a moral crusade, which actually pisses me off. Because those never end fucking well. Like,
no, they never do.
Yeah, they start out fine getting rid of the first few people that are really obvious, and then soon, hey, you jaywalked. Oh, wrong think.
Yeah. It becomes little North Korea if he doesn't fall. Like,
yeah, so
I can understand.
like where
I can
this
understand
is
his position. I can understand his position being in the Philippines, which has been historically the drug den of the Eastern Sea. So.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not against him bringing law and order to the region through extremely violent means. Honestly, I do the same thing. But what I disagree with, like, he's just going after people for moral reasons. Like, not even, like, good moral reasons, like, oh, my God, you're a rapist, die. Oh, my God, you murdered 13 people, you're going to die. Oh, my God, you're literally peddling drugs to kids, you have to die. It's like, oh, you like to smoke some weed? You gotta die. And the
Yeah.
problem with this is every nation who's really just legalized, regulated, or at least decriminalized and forced treatment on people have all worked. It's astounding how well it works. You don't have
Yeah.
crack addicts in the
Technically,
street. You don't have drug,
yeah.
heroin fucking people jumping off of buildings. People just do it like they drink alcohol.
Yeah, it's probably one of the more benign, like, psychiatric drugs that are on the market. I mean, it's still addictive, but that's sort of the nature of every drug,
Yeah.
even ones that are on the market. But what were the original talking about? No Man's Sky. Oh yeah, an infinite world and nothing to do with them.
Yeah, like,
But
oh, Infinite Worlds. And after you see about fucking a dozen of them, here you've seen them all.
yeah, um, I was watching a little bit of gameplay and I was thinking, okay, this is kind of boring. But let's skip to the end. What is the grand overarching treasure at the end of this
There is no
rainbow of
treasure. You
nothingness?
go to the center of the galaxy and then you warp to another galaxy, and people think if you get through a certain number of this bullshit, because you start from scratch, that there will actually eventually be something. But people are thinking it's basically like a Molyneux's box, where there will be something when they put something there, and until then, it's just basically an infinite loop.
Yeah. But here's the thing that, and this is probably the Minecraft part of me talking, which I love way back when. But the thing that made Minecraft great wasn't that it's infinite worlds. It's the
Yeah,
fact that
I'm
you
really
can
getting sick and
manipulate
tired of
the
people
environment.
throwing the Minecraft logo around. Like, dude, none of you guys are doing Minecraft. You are doing a shitty game with crafting features. That is not Minecraft. Learn what Minecraft is. It's a voxel based game where you can terraform and change your entire world on your whim and build unique structures. If your game does not have that, you are not making a Minecraft inspired game. You are ripping off another genre of crafting games like Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is not inspired by Minecraft. Fallout 4 rips off survival games. And then you can tell this because it uses the exact same crafting mechanics.
Yeah,
Like, there's no
it
difference.
rips off 5 days to live,
7 days to
Rust.
die.
Yeah, somebody needs to die, and it takes away a lot of that and gives you like little bitty settlements. And this is the thing about settlements is that I get
They're fucking
overwhelmed.
useless.
Yeah, they're useless on one hand, and I just get overwhelmed because there's 22 of them, and they're all doing the same like thing. And I learned that this recently is that if you do not visit them regularly and take the stuff, they will stop producing scrap. So even
Fuck
though
them.
everything
I
is,
wonder why they knocked
yeah,
that off.
yeah. So this is what blows my mind is that okay, I link you all to a central hub where I can access and mod and do all my building stuff, and in turn, everybody has just a 1 degree of separation to the supply, the main hoard of aluminum and oil and nonsense that I've collected.
I
So
did the kind
technically,
of
I
same
should
thing,
be,
except for I went with central base locations, and farms.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
everyone became
Everything links
a
to
farm.
Red Rocket for me. All the locations link there
I did that my
because
first time, but then after I realized that it was pretty much useless to actually do that because there's no added benefit, and they never transfer anything over, and that provides part of the network. You're good. My second time, I just started building an intricate network of set hooking up shit to farms and stuff.
oh yeah, and that's the
That way,
thing.
they actually can draw resources and food and water from where they need it.
Yeah, I made a few little purely money making stations. One place that would produce 200 water, and every settler had a shop. Now this is important because water is the best like economic thing that you trade. It's 14 per bottle, and if you have something that's doing 200 units of water, you can rack up like thousands of bottles and trade that for your ammunition and whatever you need to buy. So it
Yeah.
creates an unlimited loop. I wish that they'd all linked up to the Red Rocket, but they don't. I'm not sure why.
Because
I think it's
Bethesda's
purely,
the entire inventory mechanic for the settlements is literally fuck the hell. After Far Harbor, they're introduced new glitches where a lot of them will stop producing resources altogether. They will
yeah, at
eat
a
through
certain
the
point.
resources that you have in them, and Bethesda never fixed it because the settlements are, despite what some people like to claim, are the least liked feature of the game. And that comes from someone who literally has some Reddit karma from uploading fucking albums of settlements they have built. They're purely decorative. And then the AI doesn't even work in 90% of the cases. Like, that's why I did
And
not
this
build
is
up my vault, because
and
no
this is
one will go to the
complicated
guard
further
station.
with
Go on, man.
this. This is complicated further with the addition of raiders, which I thought, okay, this is, but sure, let's just go with setting up a raider settlement. Let's go. This is the thing I did. I paid off the people just because I don't trust the AI to actually kill them. Because
Oh, I'm
the
going to
weird
go
thing
in
is,
when I get to it. I'm just going to butcher everybody because fuck them.
well, that's the thing. I want to, but I don't trust the computer to like recognize that they are no longer on my side. Because if an ally is on your side, then they will simply fall down. They don't actually die. They get down to 1 health and then regenerate back up. So there's no way to
Oh, yeah,
kill them.
there have been bugs about that too. Well, they can't
Yeah,
fucking take over settlements.
The woman at Sanctuary, Mama, whatever the fuck her name
Murphy.
is, yeah, her. She breaks the game to where you cannot conquer Sanctuary, even though she doesn't have a quest attached to her, because she is a quest important character, NPC or whatever, and she cannot move from that location. So even though I moved Preston all the way up to the castle, because that made more sense to me, since that is the central base, and he is technically my right hand man, but I still kill
Gage
him
was my
anyway.
right hand man until he fucking couldn't finish his dialogue.
Uh-huh. I Yeah, and then he gets all of my business. Like, you throw in with the scum of the wasteland, and it's like, well, they're the only ones actually doing anything. What the fuck have you been doing in the 200 days that I've been here? I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's frustrating. I never side with the Minutemen, and I never side with the Railroad. Those are the
Like
two.
what oh, dude, I'm gonna tell you this. You point out to people, and this is how dumb people are. Not you smart people who are listening to us. You guys are okay. But you point out to people that the railroad replaces fucking people with synths, and that you can tell the difference between an institute synth and a railroad synth by if they know they're a synth or not. Like everyone that the institute has replaced, the mayor, the guy at the farm, they all know they're synths. Like they actually sleep normal, like synth does, which is basically not at all. They actually have to force themselves to sleep. They barely eat because they don't need to eat. They don't really need to drink water, so they rarely do that too, and that's actually what makes people really suspicious of them. Like you go, what's it? The Warwick farm. You go there, and people are suspicious as hell because the husband doesn't sleep, well, rarely sleeps. He barely eats anymore, and he doesn't really drink water. But like a railroad synth, they mind wipe them and then put in human memories, so they actually think they need to eat, sleep, and drink. So they actually do this because their new biocircuit brain tells them, we are to simulate this behavior. And they have no idea that they've been replaced. They actually believe they are the person. And you can confirm this by looking at Kiri. You know Sim's Kiri body?
Yep.
You ever look at Abernathy's
Uh,
daughter?
oh,
They're the
I didn't put the
same
two and two
exact
together.
person.
Oh, I didn't put the two and two together. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you
no,
remember what happened is they say that Sim's Curie body, I forget her designation, their mind might fail because they they don't say this, but they accidentally deleted some important OS files in her mind. Because you got to remember, synths are basically biocircuit computer brains. They don't actually. Their brains are basically like a circuit board made out of cells, not like the human brain, which is a complex compilation of neurons, glial cells, and a crap ton of other stuff that's way too long to get into here. So like everything in their brain is literally programming. So when you're mind wiping these things, you accidentally can erase essential programs which allow the personality to work.
Yeah.
So
In
essentially,
a race to Curie, in
you
Curie's
bricked
case, she
you bricked
had
your
her
synth.
cognitive. Yeah, she
Basically,
had.
you bricked your synth.
Yeah, the person had her cognitive functions wiped along with all the other essential nonsense. And we're transferring a RobCo program into this. And
which is
it
actually
is
doable
interesting.
because essentially you're transferring it from a silicon-based board to a biocircuit board.
Yeah, think of it like going from a floppy disk to a CD.
Yeah.
I know it's I'm Star Trekking simplifying the thing out of this, but
that's another thing. If you actually explain to people
whatever.
why synths aren't people and they don't have free will, they will hate on you. Except for the one or two people who actually understand AI programming, who will fucking basically high five you and say, "Finally, someone knows what the fuck they're talking about." But anyway, and then you go to Far Harbor, they will actually straight up tell you they replace people. Because you can ask them if they replaced what's her name, Yukimi or the Namiyama girl,
Kasumi.
and they'll say, "Go on."
Oh,
and they'll tell
Kasumi.
And they'll tell you straight up that no, they have not, and so. And you explain to anyone that the railroad actually replaces people. They're not really the good guys, and oh my god, they flip out. Stop making stuff up, bro. And just like it's really kind of funny because the railroad in game are these dumbass, scientifically illiterate people. Like you've actually worked with them, haven't you? I mean, you never completed their craft, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Bits and pieces of them, but
yeah, dumbass, scientifically illiterate.
Yeah, they are the social justice warriors of the game. That's my most apt comparison. Is that they believe that robotic life is akin to flesh and blood life, and I can see where that would make a little bit of sense. But again, synths do not have free will nor emotions. They are purely a script-based personality, like Peace Give Honor. But they go on this moral crusade to pretty much push everyone out, human or otherwise, and put synth life above that. And I can't ethically get behind that.
To the point where Desmond was like, would you take a bullet for a synth? And I'm like, well, that fucking depends. If like it's literally Hitler, probably fucking not. But like if it's an
context.
What?
Context. Do you speak it, woman?
Or if it's like literally Stalin 2.0 or Mao, yeah, I probably wouldn't be fucking the one putting a bullet in it. But like if we're talking like something that literally just wants to be respected and understands what it is and just wants to live its own life, because I don't treat any of the robots fundamentally any really differently than I will treat any of the humans. Like I have no problem.
I actually like traveling with the robots from the last DLC, the one where you can build
World
robots,
or Automaton,
because they won't. Yeah, I like working with them more than I do any of the characters in base, because 7 out of the 9 followers that you have, they will dislike you if you take drugs. And my character is based around Psychojet. So I have only 2 people to follow me. Strong, who dislikes everything from lock picking to opening doors and talking to people. And
also don't get inverted birds and never wear power armor.
Yeah, so I don't know why they made him Like, so, because it's so cool to, like, travel with a fucking super mutant, why must you hate me? But,
Well, it kind of makes sense from his point of view that he would hate lock point picking because it's kind of like he's a super mutant. It's not in game, but I don't really imagine super mutants pick any locks. Oh, this door doesn't open. Fuck the door!
yeah, I wish there was a perk for that, like super mutant strength, where you could just break locks or force.
Like, didn't Fallout
Like
3 have that? Like, you actually could have, like,
yes,
there was a character in there that.
Fallout 3 has force lock systems. If you had high enough lock picking, then you could force pick it, and there was a 75% chance or 100% chance that you would actually force it open. I did it quite a few times, and it's one of my favorite features, but it's omitted in this one. So,
Yeah, like, so. And, like, just the amount of people, though, that just don't understand how a synth works is astounding to the point where there's actually a real-life railroad. Well, not literally like them, but, like, with the same people that have the same lack of understanding of how AIs work, and they talk exactly like the dipshits in the railroad. And I was like, holy shit, how prophetic.
yeah, and I'm pretty much Brotherhood is like, you know, fools and mutants.
You're, like, coming in as a whisper, man. Like, I cannot hear a word.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm pretty much. What's going on?
Yeah, we can't hear you, Judge.
Oh, fucking hell! Why?
Man,
I, like,
you should
up?
really just reveal what you have on Hillary Clinton, man. That way that, you know, she's going to try to stop fucking with you. I mean, your plan to try to wait out her really bad health is pretty admirable, but I don't think it's going to work.
Well, I am 25 and she's 80. So I'm liking my chances so far.
Yeah, we can't hear. Wait. Oh,
Yeah,
never mind. The problem might have been on mine end.
Oh.
My mic is randomly switching the volume on my speakers. My bad.
Damn it. All right, it's your fault. Hold on, I got a call.
It's a call from our boss. Our podcast is horrible. We're dead. Damn it.
Yeah, our boss. Hello. All right, I'll be over.
Probably should meet your mic, man. Pinnacle of excellence. But these things are fun to do. So, anyway, so I think we've hated on Fallout 4 fucking enough to the point where, I mean, what's more to say? Fucking Bethesda, releases intentionally broken, buggy pieces of shit, and then turns around and says, "Hey, now Sony's the evil one. Believe us. You didn't like we habitually lie to you about like features in our games, what we do with our partners, and everything. Ain't like we literally lie about fucking our
consumer base."
Yeah. Oh, like yeah.
All right, so let's move on to BioWare the Andromeda edition.
Oh, right. That was the other thing we got to talk about.
Yes, and my thoughts on it are legion because I've paid more attention to this little pet project of EA more than I probably should. Just because of the amount of people that have like been removed from the original game and been
all the people from the original game are gone.
Yes, like the head director, the head writer, the modeler, the sound tester, like everybody's gone. It is a skeleton crew, pretty much, of their shitty interns that are running this game now.
With a fucking PR guy that literally hates white people and a writer who literally said that virtual mods are equivalent to rape.
Yeah, and that's not hyperbole. That's not us embellishing their views.
Oh yeah, no, we're being kind and gentle here.
We're being upfront of what we heard. I don't need to embellish what they've said.
Yeah, I mean, these people are like literally hashtag kill all men kind of fucking people.
Yeah.
But that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, and they are, and this is what I believe for the longest time, ever since BioWare became partners with EA, is that they're going to go the way of Pandemic and all the other companies that have been under EA's belt.
Yeah, I'm going to come out and
And
say
DICE is
straight
not.
up on this game. I don't think they have a game. I think they've
Yeah,
literally.
I believe that they have a tech demo.
Yeah, like that's the
And they're
thing.
just screwing
Like
with us.
at E3, they didn't have a game. They had a video of them making a game with no gameplay, no nothing. And this game's supposed to be in development for 2 fucking years, and you have not even rough shit to show off with the title, oh, this is an alpha build, not final product. They had nothing. And then for the PlayStation, when they showed off the Pro, they had guy walk around and then obvious cinematics.
Yes. And
There
this
is
is what
no
blows
game
my
here, people.
Yeah, and this is what blows my mind about to compare Mass Effect, like back in 2007. The main reason that it drew so many people in was not that it's a new game by BioWare. Oh my God, holy shit, LMG, 360 no scope, whatever. It's the fact that their advertisement was so good. Is that they posted it to places
I don't
where
know, man. I
people who
honestly
would be
thought
interested.
BioWare. I mean, the first game was kind of bad, and not really bad, but just kind of like it's
It's ugly
barely
as
okay.
sin. Oh, the textures are ugly as sin. I won't admit that. But the reason why so many
Yeah, I
people
really
got
hate
into
their
it,
new carry over the save system. I've never liked this feature because, and I'll tell you why. It's simply you have to get the best ending for your save. You can't explore other avenues. You can't be a jackass. You can't be Satan incarnate. You can't be Dick Cheney incarnate. You have to be the paragon
I
of
mean, that's
virtue
what made
because
me right. So
that's what you're going to need for your next version of the game. Which is fine in the first one because the first one had like almost shit all for choices. Don't kill the Arachne and choose Ashley to not die. That was your 2 choices that really carried over.
and they meant fuck all in the end.
Yeah, it really did.
I've done 2 playthroughs with totally different options. I still get the same ending. But regardless, bringing it back to 2007, there was a mini series on Sci-Fi when Sci-Fi was at its peak, and they would talk about just the game for like 30 minutes, and that was every Saturday night. I believe that that's what got more people into gaming today than anything else. It's a lot like what Final Fantasy VII did back in the day. They would show their trailers at actual movie theaters instead of at like at electronic stores or whatever. And the thing about 2007, a lot of great games came out there that got people who didn't really give a shit into the scene, I guess. Because back then it was Mass Effect, it was Bioshock, it was a whole bunch of very good games. It was Mercenaries, and looking on the shelf right now.
Pandemic, back when Capcom used to be good. I mean,
Yeah,
they might be becoming good
not even
again.
that, and not even that. That was Left 4 Dead era as well. There was just so much genres that appealed to so many people that it would be impossible for the gaming scene not to expand
Explode the way it did.
exponentially.
Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong,
and now
man.
we
I
have a
mean, that
bunch
was
of
also the beginning of the darker days of gaming. We had some good shit though, but you gotta remember that was when investors started really buying into gaming. These bankers and investment firms, and that Microsoft essentially stepped in and tried to buy the market. And they threw around a lot of cash and absorbed a lot of studios that they end up just axing. And this
Yeah, that's the
point,
thing about big houses like EA, Microsoft, and Sony, is that anyone under their umbrella will eventually be liquidated in the end.
X.
And this has happened time and time and time and again through the years. It's just sad because so many people like just the company either gets shit canned after a few releases or it gets completely restaffed with totally different people who have no idea what they're doing.
Like BioWare and kind of DICE at this point. Well, not to be hating on DICE or anything, but let's be honest,
I mean,
they've
I
literally
got
just
the
started
oh,
slapping
this is
DICE's
probably
logo upon everything.
yeah, this is probably a little bit interesting. Is that I actually got to speak with the director of DICE. He came and visited our campus back in 2013 or whenever, and he just talked a bit about, oh yeah, what it's like to be in that company and just what it is on a daily basis. And I actually recorded it. I'm not sure if I still have it though. But at the end of it, I asked him to sign my sketchbook, and he did. So
That's
that
so
was pretty
awesome.
cool.
Like the
I
best
know.
story, best story I have was I was at the PlayStation
That's the only
Experience.
celebrity signature I have.
My story I might not be as good as that, but I got a pretty good one. I was at the PlayStation Experience, okay, because I always wanted to go to a good convention, and I picked the PlayStation Experience to be because it's the first one. And I really wanted to, go to something, the landmark, because that's like on my bucket list, go to a convention. So I went to the convention, and I'm playing this game called Nuclear Throne, and I'm somehow managing to pick the most hardest characters to play this game on, and all of a sudden the dev, who's a pretty cool guy, and I recommend him in his game. But he's like, "Well, do you like Metal Gear Solid?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a weird question to ask out of the blue, because I don't really like 4, but I love every other game in that series." And after a bit of a conversation, he's like, "Well, the original," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, I kind of did." And he's like, "Well, Hideo Kojima was right behind you, and he watched you die." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Greatest moment. Hideo Kojima watched me die in a video game. I've made it.
We've made it, man. Call it a day. Fuck it. Close the page. We're done. Oh, but yeah, where were we originally? But
Yeah,
yeah,
but like a
Andromeda
drama
is
now, and the writing is these people are so horrible, and a biggest complaint about Inquisition from those dumb enough to buy it, no offense, people, was that this game was loaded with what we have to call virtue signaling, because if I call it social justice bullshit, I will get downvoted and hated upon. So virtue signaling, quotation mark, and people didn't like that because there's literally whole segments where people talk about how, oh, you would be perfectly treated as a man because you believe you're a man in the Canary culture, and it's just so bad.
it's just
Like,
so ham-handedly fisted upon you
and the
that
thing about here's
it's
my
just like
problem with virtue signaling. This is not like other kinds of I'm putting my ideology in the game where the game reflects my kind of beliefs and character models and philosophy on life, or you actually get some kind of unique look and actually have it go against the actual world itself and see how it will shape up and interact with it. Virtue signaling is always just so they can look good to other SJWs. That's it. It
and this
does.
and this is a sad thing about like female characters in the current day is that they are all men. They are no longer effeminate. They are no longer uniquely womanly.
Because
They
you
are
can't be
men.
weak, you can't show sympathy, you can't be a woman. And it's and don't get me wrong, because let's be honest, there's no such thing as the absolute woman or an absolute man.
But there
But
are innate traits that make it attractive to play as, or at least to engage in that with that story. I
yeah,
mean, fuck, my favorite game of all time from the GameCube era is Lost Kingdom, and that's a game about a princess of all people, and just sort of the lineage and how it affects the world around it. It's a long conversation for later, but yeah, that was one of the unique things about
I swear
a
I've heard of that
female
game.
protagonist. Yeah, I've talked about it several times. It's one of my favorite little mechanics is that you as the character are helpless pretty much. You have no defenses of your own, but you can conjure up magic and rely upon magical cards and stuff. I know we're going back to cards and stuff,
Oh, makes
but
sense.
it is an awesome game. It's and you have magic stones that you have, and each card requires a set amount of magic stones to summon. And it is a very real-time strategy, action-based game. It's awesome and interesting, and it had a carryover system before BioWare, so fuck them.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've never really rode the BioWare bandwagon. I thought they made some pretty okay stuff, but never anything that really blew my mind. I mean, I'd buy it with their name on it, but like, I never, you know, thought, oh my god, these guys are literally gods.
Yeah, it's not like me and FromSoft. It's not that kind of relationship.
Do not get me started for himself. God, no.
Yes, they are in a very abusive company. I will not lie, but I bought most of their games.
So, like, my biggest complaint about FromSoft is that how bad magic was balanced in Dark Souls 3. Like, just fuck. Like, and I'm a mage build, and like I've beaten this game 3 fucking times on my mage build. Like, I only have 2 achievements I need to get platinum for Dark Souls 3. Okay, that is to collect all the rings, and that is to complete the Moon Knight Covenant, which you need the fucking ears for, which is bugged as fuck, or was, and now everyone's so high level, so good fucking luck with that.
Yeah, the thing about getting summoned as a blue as a Dark Moon is that you have to be summoned with people that are in your level range. I think there's like a 5 level difference, maybe 2 above.
I think it's 25 up, 25 down.
Yeah, something like that. And the thing about that is you can either get with someone who's very underleveled or someone who's very high. But the problem is that
there was a limited scope for when this actually would be useful, and it closed before they could fix it.
Yeah, I didn't get into the Dark Moon Covenant. Oh yeah, I actually ran a mage build just for kicks, just to see. Okay, it can't be as hard as
bad as I said.
As bad as you said, and it took me twice as long. So I feel your pain, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nightmare to play with. I had to like split my build between a Dex and a Sorcerer build. That's how like unusable magic has been.
But like you really have to be calculating, cold, and essentially fucking know what enemies do and know the bigger how to take them on. Because honestly, the biggest hard part being a mage is the fucking targeting system, because every enemy mage can hit you from halfway across the fucking world.
Yeah,
but you have about 20 meters. Like that like your like if you cannot manually aim magic, which pisses me off because like I do not know why you cannot manually aim magic. Just give me the same system from bow and arrows. But no.
Yeah. And they did fix that in 2, where they gave you binoculars and you could aim with your spells, which was awesome. Can't do that in this one though, because for whatever reason. I don't know why.
I actually thought number 2 was the best one. I mean, a lot of people are going to hate me for that, but I thought 2 was the best Dark Souls game.
Yeah, it's my favorite as well, and I played 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne.
I played Demon Souls 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne.
Yeah, it might be a split between Bloodborne and 2.
I don't count Bloodborne as a Souls game. I count it like as a Souls spin-off, you know. So.
Giant Souls.
Yeah.
That's what I told my friend when he came over, and this is the wonderful thing about owning a Dark Souls game, is having your friends who have never played it before go through it. It's like, okay, here's the controller.
Oh yeah, like, and then having them try it out, and then you fucking do a run, right through the same area, and you just butcher everything that they're just struggling with.
Yeah.
To the point your friend looks at you like, show off.
Yeah, that's good. Dick judge. Which I am.
Yeah, back to Andromeda.
Andromeda is most likely going to be the last BioWare game that BioWare is going to produce.
Yeah, okay.
Mostly, I believe it's because their forums have been shutting down, their site has been getting less traffic, Inquisition wasn't stellar, and to be fair, the previous game
Inquisition failed commercially.
Commercially,
Electronic Arts right now is lying about their sales. If you actually look at real sales, they're not matching what they said. Like, they're saying, oh, we sold like over 10 million units, and it's like, you sold about fucking 4 or something like that. Been like a while since I looked at it. Like,
Yeah.
it sold abysmally.
Yeah, and there are no people online for Dragon Age Inquisition, to my knowledge, or whatever.
And the worst,
But
like, and here's why I honestly agree with Judge on this one is because BioWare, I mean, not BioWare, but Electronic Arts is going to go bankrupt here soon. It's going to be the first big AAA company to go bankrupt. And we know this because, and you have to do some digging to find this, they're essentially losing between 170 million and $200 million a year.
yeah, so per quarter for the economics out there, that's
$50 million.
51, yes, that's like the budget of a major Hollywood release. Like even the fucking budget for sorry, it doesn't talk there for a second. For Ghostbusters was over 100 million. So just to put in perspective, that huge.
It was like $141 million, and then they dropped another $100 million in advertisement.
Yeah.
And they needed $500 million in order to make a sequel.
Yeah, I was over in Europe during that time, and there was Ghostbusters crap everywhere. There were posters. There was like slime. They had like put like little mold slime around the lighting in the tunnels and stuff. And there was just shots of Lisa Jones or Jessica, whatever the fuck, whoever they had.
Wow, they really go out over in Europe. That sounds fucking awesome. Wish they do that here.
Yes, it was a theme. Yes, the channel was a theme park of Ghostbusters. And I'm just like, yep, and I'm not going to go see this if they're trying this hard.
Yeah, okay, so if they're doing that over out, I'm guessing they probably spent more than $100 million.
Yeah, and these weren't little locations. This was like in central London. And actually, shout out to everybody in London. You're better than France. In central London, which I'm thinking, okay, that's probably like $10,000 just to have it there for a week or so.
$10,000? Fuck no! I'd bet fucking if it's underneath 100, man, I will be surprised.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking, okay, that's cool. Maybe it's just this one station, but no, it's like every fucking station I went to had like Ghostbusters paraphernalia plastered. Kind of unnerving bit because I've been trained in advertising and
it was didn't they basically not advertise that it was an all-woman movie?
Yes, that was the theme of it, is to have close-ups, dark imagery, and just little screen.
So basically, at the end of there was at some point in time, Sony Pictures, not Sony or Sony PlayStation division. Yeah, I understand. There actually are different fucking branches of Sony, and
all under one umbrella, of course, but different.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny because after Ghostbusters, I don't know if you heard this, but Sony actually fired all the senior VPs and up at Sony Pictures, and basically Sony itself is now going to run Sony Pictures from Japan.
Yeah.
Because they were just done with all the social justice bullshit and poor fucking sales from Sony Pictures.
And ABC in their infinite journalistic wisdom decide to hop on Milo's case, and God fucking help them. Because
if you're wondering what the lead-in people is, Leslie Jones worked with Jack of the CEO of Twitter to get Milo banned. Yeah,
Twitter real savior banned.
Dude, he's our glorious. Yeah, and I can't say the F word. Damn it.
Yeah. Our glorious fag banned, and he went on a tangent afterwards, just calling them out on all this.
It was complete bullshit because he didn't break any of the rules, and they just wanted to ban him because he's a conservative.
Yes, and this has been a lightning rod for every conservative on Twitter. And Milo doesn't get along with a lot of mainstream conservatives. I know that Ben Shapiro doesn't like him a whole lot. And
listen, like the thing about Milo is you can't take him too seriously, okay?
exactly.
Like
That's his whole persona is a provocateur, which is basically an IRL troll. He goes out and purposefully picks up dust to get people to talk about it. And even if 20% of people agree with him, that's still a victory in his mind. And
because like there are several things I don't agree with on Milo, okay? I'm not going to get into them here because they're way too political, and you know. But if you take Milo seriously on things he's obviously not being serious on, you're fucking up. Like you're taking life too seriously, and you need to stop doing that.
Yeah, and you're going to look stupid in the process.
And that's how Milo has won so many battles. Because he literally, during a fucking debate with a feminist who was slandering him, he turns and says, "Not now, darling. We're talking." And then she fucking goes off.
"Not now, darling. Yes. I'm sorry, darling. We're talking about men." And she loses it. And this was over male suicide in the UK, so fairly huge issue. And him being a man, I would think that he would have a little more perspective on it. I'm not fully sure about the suicides in Britain.
Yeah, but the next episode they had him on, though, they fucking totally had that person lying, saying he was sending death threats. And I believe she actually had to publicly recant that because Milo had teamed up with a lawyer and essentially said either she publicly recants her bullshit and lies or he's suing her. And I believe, I don't have confirmation, but I do believe she actually did admit she made it up to avoid being sued.
Yeah, and he did an interview with ABC, and ABC, they have absolutely zero idea about the online world in general. To them, it's cat and hoax. So
when they could not talk over him in the fucking interview, they actually had the voiceover, the announcer dude, talk over Milo as he's making points about freedom of speech and how it does not protect you from criticism, and how freedom of speech is important because it allows us to say what we need to say that is important for society.
Yeah, that was his important half. But they did leave in the part where he said, "Well, yeah, are you a troll?"
Oh,
well, I like.
Yes, I am a troll.
Like, what is that?
I'm proud of being a troll.
Are you 13? Oh my God, it's a nightmare. And this is off the heels of them trying to do. I remember ABC way back in 2014. They tried to cover Gamergate, and they pretty much made it all up.
You're like, all right, here's the problem with ABC. Like, they're liars. Wait, is ABC owned by Soros, or are they the one owned by Rothschild? I can never remember. If you people don't know, for those that don't know, all the big news corporations are owned by essentially a fucking evil jackass. CBS is tied to the CIA. Fox is Murdoch. And ABC and CNN are either tied to Rockefeller or Soros, and I can't remember which one owns which.
CNN is tied to Soros. George Soros, who is I aptly compare him to an actual evil villain. Because he funds,
his whole thing is destroying. Go on.
His whole thing is destroying Western civilization for the sake of progress, and that's how he presents it, and that's why he funds movements like BLM. He's a major subsidiary to the Clinton Foundation and a whole bunch of other stuff. Right. Crazy.
He's
nonsense.
essentially
he's Dr. Evil if he was actually competent.
I actually thought Dr. Evil was competent. The thing is, the whole universe and Austin Powers is kind of zany. So Dr. Evil just loses every time because realistically, with that many henchmen, with that many guns, he would have won every fucking fight against Austin Powers.
Yeah, that's an excellent series, by the way. Anybody should check it out.
Like, I'm gonna delve into some. We're probably gonna get called a conspiratard for this, but this needs to be said. George Soros is essentially fucking the worst thing about jewelry. See, you have a certain clique of Jews called fucking Zionists. These are literally evil, psychotic pieces of shit. And hold on a minute. Anyway,
What
and
was that?
family shit.
Oh, okay.
My,
I'm just by myself at the moment.
so, and these people believe the book, the Talmud, and they literally believe that the Jews are above everyone else, and that it is their right to basically own us and kill us off. These people are psychotic. You can Google their quotes. They don't even hide this. And the fundamentalist Jews, they hate them. The regular Jews, they hate them. And essentially, these are the people that when people say Jews that they're talking about, these are the fucking people just pulling fucking some serious evil shit. And in George Soros' mind, the entire white race needs to be wiped out. He has said the white race needs to be wiped out. His cronies have said the white race needs to be wiped out. Like, not paraphrasing, he has said straight up, wipe it out. And so he funds Black Lives Matter. He crashes economies. He funds from push to basically radical feminism. Actually, I'm not going to call it radical feminism. He pushes feminism, and just the whole goal of him and his little clique is literally just to destroy the West. Like, and it sounds insane, but this is basically what is going on in the world.
Yeah. But that's just one of many theories that we.
Oh, this is not a theory. Like, I haven't even delved into the theory parts of this. This is like all fact we're talking about right now. Soros gave $30 million to Black Lives Matter. The Ford Foundation gave $60 million to Black Lives Matter. Soros crashed the Russian economy in the 90s. That's how he made his billions. The Hungary president and prime minister have all called out George Soros as the most evil, destructive person that needs to be stopped. And, like, the mainstream news will never mention his name outside he donating to somebody.
Yeah, but we've been going on for roughly 2 hours, I believe. So, and I've run out of things to talk about. So why don't we end it there on a good note?
And not to be all conspiratorial here, people, but this is the kind of people person that funds this shit. You really have to look into what these people are saying. Like, don't take my word for it. There are direct quotes. And this is not an attack against all Jews, and don't let fucking people misconstrue that. But this is the kind of people that, the people that make the Andromeda basically worship and say the same shit as.
So, with that, we end another episode of the Fearful Podcast. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace out, people.
Yep.
We're still live.
Oh, fuck.